Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and we're good to go with the second game of 1978 blitz match played between Mikhail Tal and Garry Kasparov. Earlier in the first game, in the first video, I have already told where and how this match happened. In case you missed it, check it out please. The link will be in the comment section. Meanwhile, this is game 2, and Kasparov with white pieces opened up with e4, and like in game 1 we see Sicilian defense. In that game Tal was on the white side and he confidently managed to prevail over his 15-year-old opponent. Meanwhile, the classical variation appeared on the board, e6 queen d2, against which Kasparov is choosing the razor-sharp Richter-Rauser attack. White castled queenside, bishop d7, f4, b5. Black is advancing on the queen side, but is doing it at the cost of allowing white to damage the kingside pawn structure. This is of course a theory, and there is nothing wrong with this pawn formation. It can serve as a nice defensive shield. And then an exchange of knights on c6 followed. Queen e1, bishop e7, bishop d3, queen b6, king b1, and Tal castled queenside. This is a novelty, but not a good move. Theory recommends b4. The problem with this castling queenside is that by playing knight d5, white can gain initiative. If here, then e takes d5, now we have two hanging bishops, and if bishop takes d5, then queen takes e7. This line favors white, and strangely Kasparov didn't choose it. And then white rook can penetrate the 7th rank. In the game to castling queenside, Kasparov answered with a more cautious rook f1 move, bishop b7, f5, king b8. Gradually black is consolidating his position, queen c5, f takes e6, f takes e6, knight e2, queen e5. Tal is offering an exchange of queens, and this is something which you won't see every day in his games, and luckily Kasparov is rejecting that offer. And let me reveal you a little secret, guys. Soon we are going to see a queen sacrifice. Yes, we are very lucky that Kasparov didn't go for an exchange of queens. Now, if for example queen h3, then black can play bishop d8 protecting the pawn. This was the reason of rook e8. That's why to rook d8 white answered with rook e1. Rook g8, queen h3. Bishop c8, this time the light squared bishop is supporting the e-pawn. Queen c5, queen e2, rook g5. Looks like that the players do not have a definite strategic plan, and actually during such a blitz game it's difficult to find one, and they are maneuvering all the time. We see maneuvers by both players trying to find better squares for their pieces. Knight f4, rook e5, queen c2, queen c7, g3, bishop b7, king a1. The pawn on e6 was hanging, and strangely Kasparov didn't win it. Bishop takes e6 was the move. I have to tell you that already from move 23, from here on, the players were in a serious time trouble, and they were just blitzing out the moves. Soon we are going to see more mistakes. Again, this pawn can be captured, but we see it takes f5 by Kasparov, it takes f5, knight d3, bishop e4, and we have an exchange sacrifice. This exchange sacrifice is allowing white to exploit the weaknesses of the light squares around black king. Rook e3, it was better to give back the rook and play a5 in order not to allow this knight intrusion. We see rook e3 by Tal, and knight b4. King a7, a4. Well, it's very strange that Kasparov didn't play knight c6 check, which is winning on the spot. If king b6, then queen d2. And the game is over. If here, then this time the check from f2 will follow. In the game we see a4 by Kasparov, and queen c5. A takes b5, bishop f6. Rook takes f5, rook c8. Knight c6 check. There was no need for this check, you know. The bishop was hanging. And if queen takes b4, then queen h7 can follow. Instead we see knight c6 check. Now by playing rook takes c6, black could actually equalize easily. Yeah, this is going to end up in a draw. We have opposite color bishops at a completely equal position. Instead to knight c6 check, Tal answered with king b6 and bishop b3. Queen a4 was the killer move. We see bishop b3, rook e1 check, king a2. Now this queen on c5 is hanging, but at this point Tal made a staggering decision and he made a queen sacrifice, guys. He's sacrificing the queen, but in return is managing to open up this a file, and now we'll start harassing white king. Bishop a4, rook takes a4 check, king b3, they take c5, and now we have an equality on the board, but white has to be very careful. There is only one move which is allowing white to keep the balance. Right now the threat is c4 checkmate, and you have to open up a luft. Kasparov played queen f5, but this is losing. Queen d2 is the move, attacking black rook. If rook a1, then knight b4, and now if you win this knight, then queen d6 check followed by queen takes f6. In the game we see queen f5 and rook e2 by Tal. In here the winning move is rook c1, covering the c2 square and threatening c4 checkmate. If queen f2, then bishop takes c3, and then with several more checks black is managing to win white queen. Instead Tal played rook e2. Probably at the same time he decided to keep this f2 square under control, but in this case with knight a5 white is managing to survive. What is interesting, knight a5 is not working when playing rook c1. In this case if knight a5, then black has bishop e7 move. c4 is coming and there is no defense. For example, let's just make a random move h4, then c4, and after sacrificing the rook, black is announcing a checkmate because the rook is on the first rank. So can you understand how important it was to play rook c1 and not rook e2? Let's go back. So in our game, after queen f5, rook e2, knight a5 followed, and at this point Tal made another very beautiful move, played rook b4 check. King a3 is the move which is allowing white to survive, but Kasparov naively accepted the rook sacrifice and got checkmate hit on the spot. Soon a study-like checkmate appeared on the board. Look at this beauty, guys. For a long time this bishop on f6 was hanging. Kasparov didn't touch it, and this hanging bishop got a lucky chance to protect the rook, and with a pawn we have a checkmate. Yeah, very beautiful checkmate, guys. Let's not forget that this was a blitz game, that's why too many mistakes appeared on the board, but all in all this was a nice game. Too many sparkling sacrifices, you know, a queen sacrifice, a rook sacrifice, and finally a checkmate with a pawn. Hope that you enjoyed this game, and in the end let's also solve a chess puzzle where the task is to find the mating line for white. As usual, we'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Feel free to check out my early uploads as well. We'll see you in my next video. Take care.